In 2008, Rogelio Funes Mori was the winner of a reality show, Sueño MLS. That's right, Major League Soccer used to have a reality show, but that's an episode for another day. Funes Mori was Argentinian, living in Texas, and now somehow he's representing Monterrey and El Tri. The US missed out on Rogelio and his twin brother, Ramiro, who now plays for Villarreal. Two great players who chose not to represent the USMNT. And guess what? I have an entire countdown full of players just like Funes Mori, so let's get started. The United States men's national team has the competitive advantage of representing a melting pot of cultures. In terms of soccer, this means that the US has citizens or those with a birthright to citizenship on just about every continent in all corners of the globe. Just look at the current USMNT starting lineup. We'll use the Nations League final against Mexico as our standard 11 since it was our last biggest match against Mexico. Just in this lineup alone, Brooks, Yedlin, Dest, Reina, and Pulisic all possess the ability to play for a European team through their mother, father, or even grandparents. In fact, Sergino Dest was originally representing the Netherlands and John Brooks Germany before they decided to make the permanent switch to represent the US. So let's cut to the chase. What other players could have represented the US? Which global stars have ties to the US men's national team but decide to represent a different country? Before I break down the top 10 formerly eligible USMNT players, I would like to set the guidelines for the list. In order to be considered for this list, a player must 1. Still be active, and 2. The player on this list will be chosen for their success as a pro, their potential, and their overall influence for both club and country. So without further ado, here are the top 10 USMNT eligible players who chose not to play for the US. At number 10, from Sassuolo, Serie A, Jeremy Tullian. Jeremy Tullian was born in Germany to an American father and a Croatian mother. The Sassuolo left-back currently plays his soccer in Serie A and also represented Hoffenheim, Borussia Dortmund, and Celtic in his career thus far. Tullian has played the majority of his international career for Germany at the youth levels. At 26 years old, he is eligible for US citizenship through his father, but he has turned down multiple call-ups for the USMNT. An intriguing player competing in Italy, his opportunity to represent the US has most likely passed with players like Dest, Robinson, and Cannon in the mix. At number 9, West Ham's goalkeeper, Darren Randolph. Randolph was a one-time eligible player for the USMNT through his father. Darren was born to an Irish mother and an American father, Ed Randolph. Fun fact, his father was the first foreigner to play in the Irish Basketball League. At 36 years old, Darren has quite the career, a player who has represented teams in the Scottish Premiership, English Championship, and Premier League. Randolph has competed at some of the highest levels in European soccer. Darren made his international debut for the Republic of Ireland in 2012, and it is safe to say with the likes of Tim Howard, Brad Guzan, and other goalkeepers back in 12. In terms of playing time, I think he made the right choice playing for Ireland. Like father, like son, Darren Randolph represented Ireland in basketball at the underage levels. At number 8 is the man who plays his soccer on the other side of the world, Kotoku Sakai. Sakai was born in New York City on March 14, 1991. He was born to a German mother and a Japanese father, but was eligible to represent the US through being born on US soil. Sakai has played his soccer in the German Bundesliga for Stuttgart and Hamburg. He's also played in the Japanese J1 League, having come up as a professional through the Albirex Niigata youth system, and now Sakai finds himself playing for Japan's more high-profile club, Vissel Kobe. That's right, the same Vissel Kobe that has signed David Villa, Andre Iniesta, and Lukas Podolski. Always my go-to random FIFA squad when I'm trying to frustrate my friends. Having represented Japan 42 times, including in the 2018 World Cup, Sakai announced his international retirement following that same World Cup. A talented defender, Sakai could have found himself a spot on the USMNT during his prime. At number 7, the winner of Sueño MLS, Rogelio Funes Mori. Rogelio Funes Mori was born on March 5, 1991 in Mendoza, Argentina. The current Monterrey striker has been playing in Liga MX since 2015. Rogelio has additionally suited up for the likes of River Plate and Benfica. In 2001, Rogelio Funes Mori and his brother, Ramiro Funes Mori, moved stateside to Arlington, Texas. Once in Texas, Rogelio Funes Mori dominated the local soccer scene during his time in the US. In the 2008 season while in high school, Rogelio Funes Mori scored 40 goals in one season, leading his team to district championship and the eventual area finalists. Funes Mori would later be noticed during the reality show Sueño MLS. Rogelio would end up winning the competition and subsequently landing himself a spot on FC Dallas's academy team. In total, he spent 7 years in the US before returning to Argentina, where he would make his professional appearance for River Plate in 2009. At Monterrey, Rogelio Funes Mori has proven to be one of the league's best strikers. In Liga MX, he has won a league title, 2 domestic cups, and the CONCACAF Champions League. Rogelio Funes Mori has also recently tied Humberto Suazo, who is a FIFA 15 legend of the game, to become the club's all-time top scorer in all competitions. In a strange turn of events, he is currently representing Mexican national team, scoring his first goal for El Tri this year, just last week against Nigeria. It may have something to do with the Argentinian coach. Sorry, Chicharito. At number 6, arguably the more internationally well-known brother of the Funes Mori duo, Ramiro. Ramiro moved to the US with Rogelio back in 2001 and also was signed by the FC Dallas's academy team. Like Rogelio, he would then sign for River Plate, spending 3 years in their academy before making his pro debut in 2011. After solidifying himself as one of the best young defenders in the Argentine Premier League, Ramiro Funes Mori would make a move to the Premier League for a fee of £9.5 million. He would play for Everton for 4 seasons before moving to La Liga in 2018. In 2018, Ramiro would transfer for an undisclosed fee to Villarreal, where he'd eventually be part of the team that just beat Manchester United in this year's past UEFA Europa League. With 26 appearances for Argentina's national team, it is safe to say that Ramiro Funes Mori would be a fixture for the USMNT had he decided to represent the US. At number 5, a player that was never even approached by the US scouts, Fadadi Ibisevic. Ibisevic was born on August 6, 1984 in the city of Lasenica, a former soccer powerhouse, Yugoslavia. Although he is currently attached to a team, he has yet to formally announce his retirement, and for that reason, he is eligible for this list. Fadadi would move to the United States with his family in 2001, where he would play for Roosevelt High School in St. Louis, Missouri. He would go on to play college soccer for the St. Louis Billikens in 2003, and during his freshman year, Fadadi would score 18 goals and 4 assists in 22 appearances. It'd be during his time competing in the Premier Development League that Ibisevic would be spotted by PSG's then Bosnian head coach, and the rest, it was history. Fadadi would go on to spend the majority of his career in the German Bundesliga representing Hoffenheim, Stuttgart, Hertha Berlin, and Schalke. Ibisevic would make 83 appearances for Bosnia and Herzegovina during his international career. Fadadi Ibisevic is the best product of a proud Bosnian community in St. Louis. In a 2008 New York Times article, Fadadi Ibisevic was interviewed and asked the question, and I quote, "Could you have played for the US and did you ever hear from the national team?" Fadadi Ibisevic responded, I quote, "I have a green card and my sister is a citizen, but I never had anyone coming up to me asking me. Nothing really. At the time, I would have considered it. I really liked the whole situation with St. Louis, and probably if someone would have approached me, I probably would have played for the US national team. It is difficult now to talk about it because it's already in the past. It would have been possible, of course, after all that I got by moving to America. It was very nice. I would, of course, have considered giving something back." End quote. At number 4, Jurgen Klopp's best friend, Nevin Subicish. Nevin Subicish is mostly known for his time suiting up for the Bundesliga giants, Borussia Dortmund. Like Fadadi, Subicish was also born in Yugoslavia on December 10th, 1988. Subicish's family would move to the United States in 1999, settling in Salt Lake City, Utah. Subicish would then move a second time with his family to Bradenton, Florida. Although the family originally moved there to support his sister in pursuing a tennis career at the Nick Ballatore Tennis Academy, Subicish would be the one to benefit most out of the move to Florida. At the time, Bradenton, Florida was the base for the USU 17 national team. And one day while Subicish was training at the park, he was spotted by the team's head coach, John Ellinger. Subicish would be offered a spot in the residency camp. It wasn't long before he once again was spotted by a scout, this time in the Netherlands, and he would catch the eye of Bundesliga side, Mainz. He would first play for their second team and then eventually appear in 34 matches for Mainz. Nevin Subicish would hit it off with the head coach, Jurgen Klopp. And Klopp would eventually bring him over to Borussia Dortmund, and the rest, well, it was history. Nevin Subicish was capped 36 times with Serbia, including his appearance in the 2010 FIFA World Cup. At number 3 is the Irish-American Norwegian Thomas Delaney. One of the stars of Denmark's semi-final European Championship run was Thomas Delaney. Delaney is an Irish last name, and like many Irish Americans, his paternal great-grandfather moved from Ireland to the United States during the Great Famine. Delaney was born in Denmark, but his father is from the US, therefore has US citizenship, due to being born in the US, so he could feasibly play for the US. Delaney spent his youth career at FC Copenhagen. He would come up through Copenhagen's youth ranks to make his professional debut in April of 2009. At 29 years of age, Thomas Delaney was quick to become a professional, and he has enjoyed a sustainable career for Copenhagen, Werder Bremen, and most recently for Borussia Dortmund. Delaney was a member of Denmark's 2018 FIFA World Cup squad, and he was also included on the 2020 Euro team, scoring in the quarterfinal versus the Czech Republic. At number 2, this guy's accent is way too New York to be representing any other nation.
In my career, it's something that I like to follow. I'm seeing how it's progressing, how big the MLS is becoming in the US. The fan bases are getting better, they're getting bigger.
The one player that USMNT fans can't get over, Giuseppe Rossi. The prolific Italian national team Serie A and La Liga striker was born and raised in Teaneck, New Jersey to Italian immigrants. In addition to being first-generation Italian Americans, his parents were also Italian teachers at local schools. Giuseppe Rossi not only spoke the language, but understood Italian culture, and after years of the USMNT knocking on his door, he committed to play for Italy in 2007. Rossi would go on to represent Italy 30 times, scoring 7 goals. Giuseppe Rossi represented several teams over the years at the club level, playing in the Premier League for the likes of Newcastle United and Manchester United, in Serie A for Parma, Fiorentina, and Genoa. He would additionally play in La Liga for Villarreal, Levante, and Celta Vigo. The most success Rossi found was in the 2010-11 season for Villarreal, where he scored 32 goals in 56 appearances for El Submarino Amarillo, the Yellow Submarine. Rossi would return stateside to the Colorado Rapids of Major League Soccer during the 2020 season. He's currently without a contract, but he's yet officially announced his retirement from soccer. Last, but certainly not least, Trent AlexanderArnold. TAA is one of the best right backs in the world, and he is only 22 years old. The Liverpool FC club legend is currently representing England, but at one time was eligible to play for the US through his maternal grandmother. And since being capped for the English national team in 2018, he has gone on to play for the Three Lions 13 times. Trent AlexanderArnold is the youngest one on this list, but there are many who would say that he is currently the best right back in the world. And considering it's only taken Trent AlexanderArnold 5 professional seasons to reach this status, I would say the sky's the limit for TAA. One thing is for certain, and we would love to have him suiting up for the US, if only. So that does it for the top 10 USMNT eligible players who chose not to play for the US. I hope you enjoyed this selection, and let me know, did I miss anyone? I'd love to hear from you about other soccer stars who could have represented the United States. I look forward to next week's episode and article. In the meantime, go USMNT.